Have you ever read a book and thought, how did I not know this happened? I recently read three novels that talked about a piece of American history that has been so covered up, and it has just stunned me. Absolutely stunned me. I can't get over it. And it, there's so many facets to this story, so many things that this story has uncovered for me personally that I want to share with you. So, I pair a cocktail with my books. And so today I'm pairing an old fashioned. There's three reasons. One, because it's strong, and that represents the women in these stories. Two, it's an old fashioned, so it's been around a long time. So that's about the stories that we're going to talk about. And then oranges, because California was one of the states that had the most incidences in the history of the United States, that what happened, what we're going to talk about that was going on. So the three books are Take My Hand by DeLauren Perkins Valdez. And then the second one is The Lies That They Told by Ellen Marie Wiseman. And the third is Only the Beautiful by Susan Messner. And so, what this is about, all three of them are about, is the involuntary sterilization of women. And this started in the 1930s, and it went until as recent as the 1970s. The Take My Hand is the most recent book, and it is based on a true story. It's about two young girls in Alabama, and they were Black young women. They were poverty and raised in a poverty home. They were very young, and if I'm not mistaken, it was 9 and 10 years old. And they were put on birth control, and then they were the family was coerced into having sterilization done to these young girls. And a nurse in this book, and I believe them, the nurse is the one that blew the whistle and helped this family along. And it is horrific, just horrific. And it was the first book that I read like this before, and it just broke my heart. And it also, not only does it break your heart, but you see the resilience of these women. And that is the common thread. Not only is the common thread in the involuntary sterilization of these women, but the resilience to bounce back. So in the second book, The Lies They Told, it is about an immigrant woman that comes over, a young woman, and it tells the story of how she went through Ellis Island, and the humiliation that they have to go through in Ellis Island. And then she goes to Virginia, and she has a child of her own, and so she is an unwed mother, and she goes to help a family member, and he is widowed, and he has two children, and so she goes to help them. Well, the government there wants the land from these people, and so they see this man that is leaving his children. He leaves them with this young woman and her young child, and she can't understand the language very well. And so they ask questions, and she doesn't quite know how to answer them, and she's scared to answer them. So they grab her up and they put her in an institution, and there they sterilize her because she is unfit. And they take the other children away, and it is just again, a heartbreaking story. But you see the resilience of these women and how they bond together. They even bond together in the institution, and they bond together as family, not just by blood, but by circumstances, and it is just a remarkable, remarkable story. So the third story is called Only the Beautiful, and it is set in California. And California is the state. There were 30 states that did use this law to perform involuntary sterilization. It's called eugenics, under the term eugenics. And so for this one, um, the main character is, she loses her family. She ends up going into a foster home, and she has a baby, so she's unwed. And so they put her where she thought it was a home for unwed mothers, and it ends up being an institute. They run tests on her, and again, they sterilize these young women. And like I said, California has the 20,000 sterilizations in their history, and it did go into the 1970s. I think 72 is the last one that was performed. And these women are just so brave, and they, for a long time they couldn't talk about this stuff, and so now these authors are picking up on these stories and finally telling the stories of these resilient, brave women that had no control over their lives whatsoever. Who is this book for? I would say this book is for anyone that is wanting to know that loves historical fiction, and that loves to see a resilient, brave woman come out of horrific situations. And we know that they're not all ended that way, but these are some examples of the stories and the outcomes. And then my rating. What would I rate this? I would rate this 4 3/4 Bs. And the reason I'm not giving it a 5B is because one of the books, and I'm not going to say which one, I wasn't real crazy about the writing. I thought it was a little easy, maybe is the word. But for the most part, all of them were great books, and I loved learning about these women. I loved learning about the history, even though it broke my heart. I loved it. So my question to you is, have you ever read an historical fiction book and thought, where have I been? Why did I not know this? Why, as a country, are we hiding this? And it makes you understand a little bit more of why some people fight for their rights a little bit harder than other people, I think. So let me know what you think. Let me know what your aha moment was, or a historical fiction book that you're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea, and now I want to learn more and more and more. So let me know. And I would love for you to follow along with me. Just hit the subscribe button. And I do this every Wednesday, and I would love to have you be in my little hive. So thank you very much. Hope you enjoy the old fashioned. I am Dana B, and this is Boozy B's Books and Cocktails.
Cheers!